Well, John, again, I'm puzzled. I think Lee Radford's losing different ways to say that he doesn't know what he's going to get from his side. They have the greater motivation because of recent performances, but that's going up against a side that, as you say, will want to hold on to this trophy. It's a fascinating game. It's built up brilliantly, John. I'm looking forward to this one.
Max Snead gets us underway then. The first of the Coral Challenge Cup quarterfinals for 2019. And Bousquet takes the first drive and is met by a black and white wall. McIllorum at dummy half. Braden Williami, the strong running Braden Williami, who's the top try scorer for the Catalan Dragons. 11 so far this season. Moa dealt with in the tackle by Mickey Paya.
I think this is all about small gains early on for Catalan. Hull FC ride those big challenges early on. They've been piling numbers into the tackle, and they know that they've just got to try and meet fire with fire, but the big start, and they've got to match them the first 10 minutes.
Second carry for Moa then. They get to the end of the set. The Catalan Dragons just about on the halfway line. The kick goes up from Sam Tompkins. It's collected on the full by Jamie Shaw, and Hull FC fans will be very, very pleased to see him back and settle into some kind of rhythm again after that 8-game absence.
Well, he's electric, isn't it? The back, he is a player that can break the play down. And Albert Kelly as well, who I was critical of him last week. I don't just want him driving the ball in. I want the likes of him and Jamie Shaw, who's got the ball to create the chances, take on this Catalan line.
Faraimo wrapped up by Sammy Sonia Lange. Some communication going on in the tackle there. Hull FC use a short side. Griffin, another strong runner. There's some strong centres in this outfit. Griffin and Connor for Hull FC. I'm thinking also of David Mead and Braden Williami. Some serious matchups of strength and power in the three quarters this afternoon. Last tackle, Snead goes to the air. Pokes underneath it is Tony Gigo. Tony tries to find field position, bumps off Manu. He's a player in some form.
Tactically, it's going to be fascinating, isn't it? I think the longer this goes set for set, the more it suits Hull FC. They're the side coming in off the back of a really poor performance. They'll want to be able to work themselves into this game. If you're the Catalan Dragons, you think we need to upset this side as soon as we possibly can. Put the doubt right back in the minds of Hull FC in these early minutes if they can. So I would suggest that they should try and throw the ball a little bit more, give it a little bit more width. It looks like at the moment they're playing pretty conservatively.
Is that prescribed by a coach, do you think? Lee Radford didn't say to his men, look, let's just get this first 5 or 10 minutes out of the way and go toe-to-toe with the Dragons?
Absolutely, not from Hull FC. They'll be looking to rip into Catalan. You want a big response to the coach after being on the wrong side of the scoreline by 55 points to 2. You want to go out there and you want to absolutely turn into Catalan.
Falongo on the kick return. He's well held by Tompkins. I think it was only a matter of time, wasn't it? The discussions about Sam Tompkins and how he fitted into that triumvirate with Sammy Sonialangi and Tony Gigo, I would suggest they've maybe found their best positions now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sam Tompkins is, I think, the cooler head in the more important position of half. Fullback's a hugely important role, but a little bit more abstract in his play, Tony Gigo.
Now, will there be a spark from Jake Connor? We know what he's capable of. A mercurial talent at his best. He's sitting in the right centre. Kelly to Westerman, who straightens up, rides the tackle. Hull FC get to the end of their next set. Kelly, and this is a tantalising one. Well taken though. Well taken by Fuad Yaha.
Well, probably more intent in those last couple of sets than they showed all last weekend at Anfield. Well, they're carrying the ball strongly. They're looking to create. It's not about just tucking the ball under your wing and going. Good take in the bottom left-hand corner from Catalan. You can see there's a difference in attitude. And again, we're only just coming up to 4 minutes gone in this game. What will they be like if they concede a try?
Yeah, they're burning through the tackle count as well. It's 4 gone. And only 12 metres made. Whitley plays the ball to Gigo. Sam Moa, route 1, met by Houghton. Once again, a stat that will not surprise you, the top tackler for Hull FC this season. But that's a good defensive set from Hull FC, as Catalan Dragons, in the form of Tony Gigo, are forced to kick from deep. He's got length on it though, but some clear air between Jamie Shaw and that Catalan defence. Shaw rolls out of one, he's brought down by Garcia. Faraimo bumps off one. There's a fair bit of venom in these tackles early on. Like I say, you can see that, Brian. There's not an awful lot of creativity. This is two teams that are determined to go head-to-head with one another.
I can understand that from Hull FC's perspective. I think that suits them. I think if you're coming in with a doubt over the confidence levels in your side, and you've had that shellacking at Anfield, I think this is a good start to the game for them. It suits them. This is good for Hull FC. If you're a Hull FC fan, you'd be happy with this.
Sneed. That's the first 4 sets completed for Hull FC. Again to Yaha's wing. This time they get something from it. Here's Connor. Connor's going to dot down. The question is, was there any kind of interference in there, or have Hull FC got the first try of the afternoon? Ben Thaler indicates his feelings are that it's a try. This is going to go up to the video ref.
Well, John, if this is a try, you've got to put this down to real strong defence in the last 2 sets. You can see where Catalan have been defending near the line.
Well, offside has to be cleared first, which I think
that's fine. That's fine. So the man who scored the try is the second from the touchline, Jake Connor. I don't think there's a problem here. You can see Sam Tompkins just checks him, going through, and does that ball come off in a Largo? If it does, I think it's gone backwards anyway. Well, that ball comes forward for me.
Well, I think crucially in this discussion is how Ben Thaler referred this to the video referee.
It went up as a try, so it goes up as a try. Wasn't a Largo. Touch that ball. Does it go forward?
You can't tell, can you?
No. There's not a problem with Jake Connor picking the ball up, is there? And it's a fair contest as well when it goes up.
Is there a question that he loses possession momentarily?
No,
that's easy. Possession is Jake Connor.
No problem.
So I think we're going through to the ground, which is usually an indication. The video referee, Robert Hicks, this evening is happy. And there it is, the first try and first blood drawn by Hull FC and Jake Connor. Hull FC for the Catalan Dragons nil, and you're right, that's off the back of some really stern defence and some persistence down that right edge as well, with Mark Sneed going to the air.
Well, I thought they were very good. They were strong. Mark Sneed, one of the best kickers in Super League. And there's a lot of questions, I'm sure, being asked of those players during the week, during the build-up to this. A good record that they've had. And Mark Sneed, doesn't he enjoy playing in Challenge Cup finals? And when Jake Connor gets that ball, scores the try, nobody in front of him, that is exactly what they needed at the start of this game. Post points.
It's advantage attacker as well, chasing those kicks. The attacker doesn't have to catch it. Sneed tags on the 2. He can knock it back, as we saw on that occasion. He can just get in the way. Sneed able to convert that. We just have a look at Nelonga and what he does. He's just going to make life difficult for Fuad. Yeah, that's all his job is there. Does his job well, and Jake Connor's on the spot.
The more you watch that as well, what a great reactionary take from Jake Connor. That's his 23rd try in what is his 70th game for Hull FC. Scored a try in the Cup, of course, against Castleford in the last round, and their victory here on this ground.
Johnny needs to be where the ball is, doesn't he? He needs his hands on the ball, Jake Connor. The talent that he is, he can't just plant himself over on the right-hand side.
Well, I've got a follow-up question for that, then. Is centre his best position?
I'd like to see him more around the ball, around the halves. But I'm not the coach. Lee Bradford's the coach, and obviously in the first 6 minutes it's come up with a try. Got him in front on the scoreboard.
Nicky Payer with a rumbling drive. Matt Whitley finally able to get to grips with him. Here's now Longo. Try assist a couple of minutes ago, and he can run, this boy. Eventually brought down by Garcia and Sammy Soni-Langi. They choose the short side again. This is becoming a little bit of a theme for Hull FC. Another strong carry, this time from Josh Griffin. 43 metres made in 3 tackles. Westerman looks and then decides to take the tackle. Sam Moa, Remy Casti, Michael McAlorum in attendance. Houghton to Kelly, to Sika Manu. Direct, there's a real direct feel about this Hull FC play at the moment. Kelly on the last, he goes short side. And he's going to flick the ball out the back, but only to a Catalan Dragons player. But then he's picked off by Jake Connor.
Wow,
6 more plays.
Good pressure from Hull FC.
Here's Green. Green's going straight through the middle. He's walked through Garcia. 5 metres out. Houghton spins it left. Sneed. Cut out ball. Faraimo in the corner. Double strike from Hull FC inside the opening 10 minutes of the game. Was there a question about that pass going forward from Mark Sneed? They don't care. Hull FC 10, Catalan Dragons 0.
The referee had no problem with it initially. Tony Gigo obviously does. It certainly, it looked questionable, but there's nothing you can question. If the referee goes with it, the video referee can't change his mind.
Haven't they got some size out on the wings and in the centres? Missed the last 2 games. Beretta Framo. And have a little look there. Back to one. Remy Casti looking to offload the ball. Maybe he should have took the tackle and looked to play the ball quickly. Tony Gigo annoyed with his captain. And look at that for vision. Well, Mark Sneed, he set up the first try from a kick. He sets up the second try from this lovely pass. Seeing that Lewis Tierney had jammed in and was marking and numbered up against Mark Minicello, left some space out wide for that man.
Beretta Framo then, a try scorer in the reverse fixture, the league fixture rather, down in the south of France, famously won from the boot of this man, Mark Sneed. He also scored for Framo in the cup defeat of Castleford. So 2 try scorers in the last round have scored again in the quarter-finals. Sneed, he's a dead-eye, Sneed. 12 points to 0, less than 10 minutes gone. And I know we spoke pre-game, you spoke pre-game, Brian, about this being a lottery. I don't think anybody expected the start that Hull FC have produced.
No, I mean, they'd be delighted with it, but they're playing relatively conservatively. They got themselves into that into his try-scoring position for the first try through great defence. Terry was right to say that. That gave them field position. They were a little bit more expansive in the build-up to that second try. I'll say Steve McNamara and the Catalan Dragons now have got a problem. They've been really good in 2 emotional games over the last 2 weeks, at Barcelona at the Nou Camp Stadium, and then at Anfield at Magic Weekend, where they withstood that Wakefield comeback. This is going to be a real test of them, because we'll have to say it again, their defence is on the line here. Their title defence is on the line, and they are now 12 points down against a ramped-up Hull side.
John, I've been in a situation where you've been walloped the week before. You want to go out there, and you are always going to start well. It's when adversity goes against you. How do you cope with that when you've conceded 55 points? You've got to make sure that you keep playing. What's got them into this position is strong defence and good options.
The Catalan Dragons, of course, have stayed over in the UK since that victory at Anfield last week. You just wonder if you get into the psychology of sport, the psychology of sports people. Is that a little bit out of their routine? Sneed rather. He sticks it into touch behind Lewis Tierney. Again, that's a great set off the back of points.
Well, for Lewis Tierney, it's a gamble, isn't it? Does he take it? You can see that when the kick's put in, he just seems to pull away from it. Quite content with letting that ball go into touch, and that man, he's a magician, isn't he? When he kicks the ball, he has to steer them around, not only with his kicking game, his passing game, his awareness of space, who he's going to get at, who looks as though they're tired defensively.
If we talk in general terms about going set for set, now Hull FC, it's Catalan are going to have to chase this game a little. It'll suit Hull FC to play in a more conservative way. They got themselves in a great position in this game. And I think you're going to see the Catalan Dragons have to chance their arm, because the longer it goes set for set, there's only one side it's benefiting, and that's Hull FC.
David Mead straight through 2 tackles. Oh, I would like to have seen him get clear, because that's a man with some real pace, but a really positive start to the set for the Dragons. Tierney, he takes carry 2, brought down by Payer and Houghton. Tompkins to Fuad Yaha. Route 1 stuff from the Catalan Dragons too.
All the outside backs as well, really getting in, trying to help the forwards.
Gigo back on the inside to Bousquet, who offloads, second phase play. McAlorum, Tompkins, that's flash out to Braden Williami. Knocked down at the second attempt. Still 2 tackles to play. Now they're going to get a look at Hull FC's line. Samoa into the waiting arms of Danny Houghton. Last play, Tompkins. Cut out ball, Williami to Fuad Yaha. Good tackle in the corner by Jake Connor. Both sides of the ball we've seen from Connor. He's a man who looks switched on tonight.
Well, great ball and all tackle, wasn't it? Wrapped up that ball straight away, knowing that his side were under pressure. Decent set of 6 from Catalan to get into that field position. Some whack again from Julian Bousquet and Albert Kelly. Look at this. Perfect.
Really composed piece of defence from Jake Connor. Here's Green. deputising for Scott Taylor, who misses out this evening. Houghton to Sneed, goes early in the count, third. There's a 40-20 here. A 40-20 attempt. He's not quite got the angle, but it's a good kick because it sits Tierney on the 5-metre line. Great follow-up.
Let me tell you, you'd have that all day, kicking on the third play. You could spot that coming off. You knew what they were setting up for. You knew that there was nobody at the back. Veraimo, really strong chase along with Josh Griffin.
Gigo to Tompkins. Entangling himself from the rugby form as a ball popped out, which is going to go away. Tompkins, he has a look of frustration. That came out late as well. Really late. And Westerman's involved. Let's see how much he was involved. Well, there was a hand in there initially, wasn't there?
He's lost that.
Yeah. Loses that.
Might be clipped a knee, but I would say that Sam's probably lost that.
Well, I don't understand the reason for the penalty. There's obviously been... The original call was a knock-on, wasn't it, for Tompkins? So the penalty has been called then for... And again, the referee's called this time.
Shoulder charge on Samoa. Every time Samoa gets the ball, he picks his target. He doesn't really have footwork. And he's saying that he took his arm in, his shoulder was just towards Samoa. And that's what he's been penalised for.
So the first penalty was hanging around too long in the ruck. The second one a little bit more clear-cut. The Catalan Dragons, through Bousquet, start this set. And it's going to be a prolonged look at Hull FC's line. The first real examination, you feel. Tompkins cast it, slips on an attempt to straighten up, spotted half a gap there. Houghton closed that down quickly. McAlorum, Moa, strong running. Samisoni Langi backs his way towards the line, but he's going to be held up and held up short.
Mark Minicello did brilliantly there.
McAlorum to Tompkins. This is to Gigo, back on the inside to Whitley. Whitley skirts the line, picks out Mark Sneed, who meets him head on, controls the tackle well. McAlorum looks short side, this time to Langy. Langy cut out ball to Mead. Mead in the corner goes Tierney. Great hands, David Mead. And it's a walk-in put down for Lewis Tierney. The Catalan Dragons are on the board.
Really physical from Hull FC. I thought the way that they were hitting Catalan, they look strong. But you've got to have more faith here. Veraimo, he's got to be confident that his centre partner, Josh Griffin, is going to take care of his opposite. And he just bites in and he leaves the space out wide. That's an easy try for Lewis Tierney. Well created, easy space on the edge, and that's the danger of what Catalan could do. A bit of field position, couple of sets of 6 with the ball, and now what's going to be going on between the ears for Hull FC.
Just the ball playing options they've got as well. It's obviously Tompkins in the halves, Samisoni Langi there, who was part creator along with David Mead, and Tony Gigo at fullback. We've got some real ball playing options, some real ball playing threats close to the Hull FC line.
Well, very composed, aren't he? Michael McLaurin as well. You throw him in there. Not only is he devastating in defence, he's very intelligent. When to run from dummy half, when to pass the ball early, looking to create that space. And then obviously the likes of Sam Tompkins, Samisoni Langi and Tony Gigo, they're 3 players that can cause you an awful lot of trouble.
Sam Tompkins, impressive strike rate with the boot. Lines up to add 2 more from the sideline. Just drifts across the front of the uprights. The 4 is unconverted. Hull FC 12, Catalan Dragons 4. But importantly, after what was a torrid start for the visiting side, they get themselves on the board.
And the concession of penalties is what gave them the field position. Hull FC bemoan their errors in the Magic Weekend defeat to Huddersfield. Their ill discipline has allowed Catalan Dragons march up the field. You give any side in Super League, no matter how they're travelling, you give any side a good look at your line for a prolonged period, as you say, you're going to concede points.
Well, confidence gained from the first 10 minutes of the game. How quickly can that confidence evaporate? It's paper thin at the moment.
It's a great question, you'll find out.
Well, you start wobbling, don't you? Now, you've got to be able to deal with pressure. And like I said before, I always expected Hull FC to start well. They are a good side. They have got great players within the ranks. But it's a different matter when you're low on confidence after the performance from the week before.
Garcia takes it on play for McAlorum, back on the inside to Casti. Big contact, heavy contact with Casti and Peya. Last tackle, Gigo goes to the air again. There's a good kick chase on this one as well. Now Longo takes it cleanly, but is immediately met by the onrushing Fuad Yaha.
Well, Fuad Yaha, Matt Whitley, 50 tackles. Last week only missed one. Phenomenal effort on the left-hand side. Look at him putting some pressure on Longo there.
The Catalan Dragons only ever present in 2019. Is Matt Whitley after signing from Widnes. Exactly 100 games from Widnes, and then went to the south of France.
Great signing, Matt Whitley. Oh, it was on, wasn't it?
An opportunity, albeit late, for Minicello to get the ball away, and another. This Catalan Dragons side, they're opening up a little bit around the ruck. Sneed goes for touch at the end of the tackle count, doesn't find it. Gigo well positioned. He hands on to Tierney. Tierney steps out, straightens, goes between Kelly and Manu. That's a good return play.
And well positioned by Lewis Tierney, the man who's got the ball, to get behind Tony Gigo. So he was a running option. The other winger now, the left winger, Fuad Yaha, comes up with a strong carry. Can't be dominated, won't go to ground.
Langi into the chest of Sika Manu. McAlorum looks right, goes left. Gigo, Whitley looked for the offload for Tompkins for half a second. Tompkins again picks and goes left. Casti, he straightens, bumps underneath the tackle of Kelly. This is all a bit leggy from Hull FC, and they've conceded a penalty. A stray arm again.
How many times is that man who's carrying the ball, the captain Remy Casti, does he get penalties? He's got late footwork at the line. Look at him. You see Joe Westerman's already planted his feet. He's looking to hit him, get his feet close, and then good work, reaction, footwork at the line from the captain.
It's very reactionary, isn't it? Catalan Dragons doing a very good job of getting out that first tackle, challenging Hull FC again. They opt to run this one. Moa, McAlorum, short ball, Casti again. Westerman and Casti lock horns. And again, Westerman making acquaintance with the neck of Remy Casti. McAlorum shifts wide. Langi, good ball. Gigo again. Cuts out ball to Tierney. He's going to finish in the corner. A quick-fire double for the Catalan Dragons. And Sammy Soni Langi. We talk about Mark Sneed's vision 5 minutes ago. What about that from the standoff half? Lewis Tierney, 2 in 5 minutes.
Well, that is just pure class from Tony Gigo. Remy Casti, again, he just earns his side of penalty from his sheer hard work. He plays the ball under the sticks, and look at that for the ball. Again, Frimo, he wedges in. Josh Griffin goes in, tries to close it down. Then obviously the winger's got to follow.
Knew exactly where he needed to get the ball and did it. Lewis Tierney, the beneficiary of that. But the big question is now, this is tapped over and this is a 2-point game. You're exactly right to question the confidence of Hull FC, because they go from a great start and a 12-0 lead to back to just a 2-point lead for them, coming off the back of that Magic Anfield performance. Well, less than Magic Anfield performance.
Real laconic style about Tony Gigo. He does, you're right, he looks relaxed, looks disinterested at times.
Lethargic.
But do you know what, I really like the fizz and the enthusiasm from Sammy Soni Langi. He accelerated, put a bit of venom into that line, made them defend. Sam Tompkins, he pushed the first one to the left, he pushes the second to the right, and Lewis Tierney's second effort goes unconverted.
It's just pure brilliance, isn't it, from Tony Gigo. He is one of those players that gets defenders thinking. You have no idea what he's going to do.
Langi under the kickoff. Sam Moa. It's a 4-point ball game. Only the difference of a foot or two either side of the uprights from Sam Tompkins, between this being a locked-up ball game. As Gigo goes right to Garcia.
Well, John, it's a 4-point ball game. Obviously, Catalan are behind on the scoreboard, but they've conceded 2 tries. And powerful charge here. No frills rugby from Catalan. Here goes the captain again. Good footwork. Steps off his left foot, finds his front, quick play the ball. Defender's still not set.
Tompkins again to the air. Not long ago, well, he sighted that, didn't he? And he's got a penalty as well. Fouad Yaha taking the player in the air.
I can't understand what Fouad Yaha slows himself down and then still goes in and makes the tackle. Knows what he should do, gives himself a chance to do that, and then concedes a penalty in the end by rushing his last use.
Coach killer, isn't it? It must be so frustrating.
It's beyond belief. He knew he couldn't just charge in, so he slowed himself up and gave himself a great chance to tackle the player as he came down with the ball and hit the ground. Didn't do it.
And some respite for Hull FC. And they get the opportunity to clear the lines. Lewis Tierney, incidentally, first try double for Catalan since the £1 million game win at Lee back in 2017. Here goes Houghton. And again, Kelly starting to generate some speed around this ruck. Bowden rocks and rolls, and he's pulled down by 3 Catalan Dragons defenders. Houghton goes left, Sneed straightens, left foot, right foot, left foot again. He's a stepper, but he's mistimed the pass, the offload, the attempt to keep the play going, and a surrender possession to the Catalan Dragons. Lange immediately out to Tierney.
Well, home fans are getting restless, aren't they? Obviously, the unstructured play by Mark Sneed when he goes at the line. But it's the sort of attacking shape. Who's with the players when they go in at the line?
Tompkins to Yaha. Great asset of Fouad Yaha. Strong, direct, powerful winger. By Terry. Good quick play to ball. Gigo gets time to put this. It's a spiraled bomb. And there's a bit of confusion in the defensive ranks. Really well taken. What a take by Nalongo. And he's going to get a penalty again, I think.
Yeah, Michael McLaurin stood in an offside position. There's nothing wrong with Sam Tompkins there. That was a challenge. But the referee, Ben Fowler, has penalised the hooker. You can just see he stood on the right-hand side of Sam Tompkins within the 10 metres, which is illegal.
He was deemed to have been having an influence, having an effect on that defensive player.
Well, I thought he had an effect last year in the Challenge Cup final. He was my man of the match, Michael McLaurin. I thought he was inspirational to everyone else around him. Oof. And there he is, comes flying in then, third man on Josh Bowden.
Savelio again. 2 carries in this set. To Westerman, to Sneed. Cut out ball to Griffin. Griffin just hauled down by Lewis Tierney. Good defensive read by the winger. Minicello skirting. This defensive line straightens up, breaks 1, rolls through 2, nearly escapes the clutches of Garcia. That's a more positive run. End of the tackle count. Sneed looks right, lofts a 9-iron. Connor, as has become his trademark, doesn't come off of them this time, and Fouad Yaha tidies up.
See a lot of the Catalan players then just trying to protect the likes of Fouad Yaha and this man who's carrying the ball, Braden Williami. From all trying to be escorts. There was some black and white jerseys in the frame then. And the physical challenge from Joe Westerman.
Yeah, Hull FC look to have stepped up this defensive set a little. Another big contact. Kenny Edwards on the field for the Catalan Dragons.
It's a bruising game, this, isn't it?
Mead, he's got good footwork as David Mead. Couple of half breaks, nose through the line a couple of times. Dangerous player. Again, Gigo to the air. Again, a spiral bomb. Again, misread by Jamie Shaw at fullback, but no contact with the Hull player. Tierney does collect, but it's turnover ball. Hull FC take possession.
Well, not going for distance then with that kick, just looking to drop it in front of Jamie Shaw, the fullback from Hull FC, make him come forward, and it nearly paid off as well for Catalan.
Wait here, boys. Wait, one, go.
Fraimo plays the ball. Griffin is coming in to take a little bit of the workload from his forwards. There's been a bruising encounter in the middle of the field for the opening 25 minutes or so. Houghton, Westerman, effective link man is Westerman, isn't he? As well as a a strong defensive character in the middle, and Hull FC this time receive a penalty.
Well, you've got to work together when you're in the defensive line. The high shot from Sam Tompkins on Sikamanu. And good sides will always look to drop the ball off, change the angles of run. And if you switch off and you let that gap open up, that's what they're looking to achieve. They're looking at those lazier, bigger forwards who might have done an awful lot of work carrying the ball defensively. They're looking for that space around the middle.
Savelio takes 3 Catalan Dragons to put him onto his back. Houghton, industrious in that hooking position. Bowden down, finds his front. You feel they're setting for something here. Houghton, Kelly, back on the inside to Sikamanu. Offload late to Houghton. Houghton to Sneed, assesses the defensive line. Jamie Shaw, ball out to Griffin, again wrapped up. He's got him on a short leash as Lewis Tierney. Josh Griffin, he knows how dangerous, how strong he is. Sneed to Westerman. Westerman straightens, rides the tackle of Garcia. And that's a quick play the ball for Houghton, and Kelly. Kelly knocked out of his grasp. Jake Connor judged to have knocked the ball on.
Yes.
So another attack that comes to naught for Hull FC.
Yeah, strong defence. Again, you nailed it over on the right-hand side for Catalan. The timing of Lewis Tierney coming in, closing players down. When Albert Kelly goes at the line, he's trying to isolate a defender, create some space on the outside. The threat that he is when he goes at any defender in Super League, he really does get you rocking back on your heels. You don't know what he's going to do. Powerful runner as well.
You may see them have another look at that right edge, that right wing centre combination for the Catalan Dragons. Hull FC attacking down there, creating a mismatch, and Lewis Tierney is able to sniff it out with a good defensive read. But I would imagine Hull FC think, we keep running that play, he's going to have to be very good every time. We just need to be lucky once.
The Catalan Dragons twice now holding the ball in the scrum. They're working for a penalty. They're working for an easy exit. As Sam Cassiano, he provides them an easy exit. He's a man mounting that guy. Just a tactic from Catalan Dragons.
Well, they're just waiting for Hull FC to either break from the scrum early or just get off the mark. They're looking for that penalty. Sam Cassiano here, look at him. He makes a size 5 rugby ball look like a tennis ball. He's that big.
Gigo again, third time, spiral bomb. This time picked off by Beretta Faraimo. The quality of the kick, not as good this time. He's hauled down by Michael McAlorum. Shaw picked off by the same player. Good double up by the Catalan hooker. And again, he's gone for the triple, not quite come off. Houghton gets it away.
Oh, let me tell you, he gives the rest of his team a big lift in defence. He absolutely, he raises them to a different level. The effort from marker and the effort off the line as well. Really intimidating defender.
Connor into dummy half. A man, you say, Terry, needs to have his hands on the ball more often, as Howden is dumped on his back by Garcia. Hull FC through Kelly, go for touch, miss. Tompkins blocks and Baiteri takes the ball, but there's another call from the referee as we see a rerun of the shot from Garcia on Bowden. So the kick
Offside.
is played into Tompkins.
Yeah, and then Baiteri comes from the marker position. He stood in an offside position.
It's a very, very difficult call. Tough call, that, isn't it? It's completely reactionary play.
Well, when you see a ball on the floor, you're going to jump on it, aren't you? And it's the correct call from the referee.
When I saw a ball on the floor when I played, I usually put it there.
Was there a knock?
I can vouch for that, actually.
Was there a knock on there from Albert Kelly? Baiteri would be hoping so.
Well, the call's not going his way, and look at this. Well, going for 2 points. Mark Sneed just lining it up. He wants that 6-point cushion.
I was watching him in practice, Terry, before the game kicked off. It's such an effortless style. I mean, we know his lineup and his positioning, his setup. It looks different and bizarre. Very, very strange. He'll go side onto the ball and then he'll turn once, and he'll look almost addressing the ball straight ahead then. But it's just an effortless strike with the left foot and gets quite a bit of distance in it. I think he'll have the distance here.
He's metronomic, isn't he? Don't forget a 50-metre penalty on the stroke of full time in the south of France earlier this season. So this well within range. He sets it off. Certainly got the distance, not the accuracy on this occasion. Crucially, though, for Hull FC, that ball is kicked dead. They regain possession.
Well, they'll take this opportunity and have a little look. Well, Kelly might have touched the ball then, but the call went in Hull FC's favour. We've still got another set of 6. Even though they missed the conversion, they managed to get it dead. So that's the reason why Mark Sneed and his teammates went for it. Isn't it good to see this man back in the British game? Andres Savelio missed the last 8 games. I think he's a quality player.
He needs some time on the field, doesn't he? We need to put a run of games together. Series of serious injuries.
Oh, tremendous player ever since he broke onto the scene as a kid at Saints.
He's certainly a player with some potential. Never quite realised that in his stint with Brisbane. But he's back here now, plying his trade for Hull FC, and they're very pleased to have got him because he's nearly walked through another tackle. A heavy workload in the 5 or so minutes that Andre Savelio's been on the field. Kelly to the air, good kick chase, good pressure. Oh, faultless take from Tony Gigo.
Don't you have to be brave as a fullback? I'd say as a winger, but I'm with you two lads, but don't you have to be brave as a fullback, like to be under that much pressure at the back, knowing that the likes of Jake Connor is hurtling after you.
Do you know what, Terry?
Take.
I think he probably needed that kick to be a little bit. That wasn't too difficult to kick for Tony Gigo to take. I know your point. I think the footsteps, he would have preferred the Hull FC footsteps to be a little closer to Gigo. Kelly, when he put that up.
Quarter-final 1, Hull FC and the Catalan Dragons. Quarter-final number 2, Hull Kingston Rovers and the Warrington Wolves. We're on the other side of the city tomorrow night, 7:30 on Sky Sports Arena, as the Catalan Dragons waste possession.
Well, it's more than that, John. It's a spectacular pass to nobody. Kenny Edwards, we know how difficult he is. What on earth he saw or was thinking here, I'll never know.
Well, he's lifted the pass, but you're right, there's nobody within 10 metres of it.
Well, he knows he didn't need to overplay, did he? Steve McNamara knows that that's an opportunity that he's just gifted to Hull FC.
So Hull restart from the scrum. There's just a little over 5 minutes left in the half. A score now for Hull FC would give a very, very different complexion to their half-time team talk. Been a real mixed bag from them as Faraimo goes down the wing. Fantastic from Faraimo, and he's into touch at the second attempt by Tony Gigo. Naive play, Brian Carney.
Well, he broke through the first tackle. Take that. There's your advantage. He expected so much out of this. There you go. Get down there. There's nowhere you're going to go. It's, I think you've got to understand when he got away with it first time. Just move in field and take the tackle. It's ultra ambitious for the second effort to keep going there.
He probably spots the space in front of him, Brian, because Tony Gigo was involved with the first contact. He falls off the tackle. There's nobody in front of him. That's probably the reason why he gets up and has a crack at it.
Cassiano from the scrum. Big Sam of Canterbury Bulldogs and the Melbourne Storm, now a Catalan Dragon, loving life in the south of France. And a huge impact from the bench in all aspects of the word. Huge physically, huge psychologically damaging for the opposition as well. He's the biggest player in Super League, he must be. Gigo over the top, he sees Faraimo come in. Mead is in some space. Mead's a dangerous run of the ball. Faraimo rescues the situation, but gives up a good 15 or 20 metres. The Dragons on the front foot. Ball to ground from Gigo, picked up by Whitley. Whitley to Willie Army. The Catalan Dragons again at the end of the count. Tompkins to the air, he's hit late by Nalongo. And the ball knocked on by Kenny Edwards into the back of a Hull FC player. And that'll be the end of another set for them.
They're probably in an offside position. The Hull FC get the ball back. Kenny Edwards makes the mistake. Say now they just need to ride this out now. Hull FC take that 4-point lead into the half-time break. Look for the direction off the coach. Oh, what about that for a shot from David Mead?
Big contact from the Papua New Guinean. Sneed looks to get that away again, searching for that 40-20, picked off on the full by Tony Gigo. He straightens, has a look at the short side, reassesses, comes open.
Well, we saw how strong Frimo is when he carries the ball. What about this, though, from David Mead? Hits him with everything. Penalty now on halfway.
Yeah, Bowden it was, who was offside.
Will Catalan, sorry, go for 2 points here.
Oh, big shot from David Mead.
Well, that's how you deal with a strong runner, isn't it?
Farai will be looking out for his number a little later on. Garcia spins out of one. McAlorum, the answer to your question, Terry, they're not interested in two. They want six, but another ball goes to ground. This attack's looking a little bit disjointed from the Catalan Dragons at the moment. Williami, and he's going to get carried over the sideline. Again, more naive play, this time from the Catalan Dragons. They don't look like very well organised or orchestrated attacking sets, Brian, at all.
Oh, and the lack of awareness of a 100-metre defender going the length of the field. It's the sideline. If you're defending, it's such a big weapon for you. As an attacking winger or a centre playing out in that position, you've got to be overly conscious of the fact that there's a touchline there that they just got to get you beside. You do everything you can to stay away from it. It's only when you're really sure that you've got something on the outside that you go for the outside. Certainly William on that occasion couldn't say he thought that.
He makes himself an easy target because he's gone across Jay Connor, then he's gone across Nalago. So he's opened himself up. He's not going direct. So for any defender, you want a player that's going sideways. And then he was helped off the field. Whoa! There you go. Mark Minichiello looking to set his winger free.
Griffin. Crowd baying for the referee to give a penalty. None forthcoming from Ben Thaler. Sneed to Westerman. Looks and finds the path blocked by a really enthusiastic Catalan Dragons defence. They're determined to finish the half in a positive fashion. Cervello again riding the tackle of Cassiano.
How many times does he break free? Always looking to offload, isn't he? Plays through the line.
Sneed checks and then sits the ball up in front of Fuad Yaha, casual as you like. One-handed take from Fuad Yaha, and Kelly with the last involvement of the half. A big tackle on the Catalan Dragons winger. An entertaining first 40 minutes. We've seen tries from Jake Connor as early as the 4th minute. Faraimo after 7. Both goaled by Mark Sneed as Hull FC took a 12-0 lead. But then the fight back came in the form of a Lewis Tierney double on 15 and 21 minutes. 2 tries for the Catalan Dragons. Interestingly though, neither converted by Sam Tompkins. So the tail of the tape at the half-time point is Hull FC are out in the lead, a fragile lead of 12 points to 8.
Send money from the Western Union app for fast cash pickup around the world. Send it app to cash.
You know what? You're never done. Well, when your control is great, work on your balance. When your balance is great, strengthen your intuition. When your build is strong, elevate your presence. And when you're great at that, keep on working. The C-Class range. Never stop improving. Search for your next car today.
Go compare. Oh. Nothing quite compares to Go Compare. Fantastic.
High-protein pet food. Crave. Satisfy their nature.
Travelling to Ireland is a pleasure when you sail with Irish Ferries. Love sailing to Ireland from £89 one way.
Ready to get settled in your new home? Well, it couldn't be easier with Sky. Get a free Sky Home Move with priority install. Plus Sky Q at no extra cost to watch your favourite shows in your new home. And we'll even give you our latest broadband deals. So give us at least 2 weeks' notice and we'll book your free Sky Home Move with Sky Q at no extra cost and our latest broadband deals. Brought to you by Sky VIP. Call to book or search to find out more.
I can call you at 3 in the morning.
And you do.
And that's how I know
I can share sunrises with you.
We got a summer we will never forget. We got a new tournament that renewed expectations. Now, our young Lions have got silverware in their sights once again. See England in the UEFA Nations League finals this June, live only on Sky Sports.
Sky Sports are in the city of Hull tonight and tomorrow night. Tonight it's Hull FC and the Catalan Dragons. Tomorrow, Hull Kingston Rovers host the Warrington Wolves in the second of our televised quarter-finals, 7:30 on Sky Sports Arena. We're at the halfway point here at the KCOM Stadium as Hull FC hold a narrow advantage. Tries from Connor and Faraimo. The goals from Sneed are the difference. Catalan Dragons the double from Lewis Tierney inside a 5-minute period in that first half. Terry, Brian, you'll take us through the high points, the analysis of this first 40 minutes, please.
Well, Lee Radford demanded a response from his side, and he certainly got that. Mark Sneed influential in the opening 10 minutes. Jake Connor getting the first touchdown for Hull FC. The ball goes up in the air. He drops it exactly where he wants it, and that's on Fuad Yaha. And Largo as well, just putting some pressure on him for Jake Connor to come up with the ball. Big start defensively. I thought the previous 2 sets in defence really set the platform for this. Thought they were exceptional. And then they get the second try in the opening 10 off the back of a mistake. Albert Kelly throws the ball back over his shoulder, goes into Remy Castic's hands, and then Jake Connor just waiting to pounce that ball. Tony Seagull furious with his teammate. And the man who set up that first try, Mark Sneed, does it exactly the same thing over on the other side. First one was from a kick, the second's from a pass. And at this point, you know, well, Hull FC are well and truly in the rhythm, and you're going to see a huge response.
Well, it couldn't have gone much better for them, Terry. Good at 12-0, completed their first 8 sets. But then this, Joe Westerman concedes a penalty. Catalan Dragons in the charge again. Westerman then pinged again by the referee. They give the Catalan Dragons good field position, they give them possession, and they do this. David Mead with a beautiful little touch to Lewis Tierney to go over for the first Catalan Dragons try. Samasoni Lange finding Mead, stretching the Hull FC defence, and Mead had to do just a little bit to give it to Tierney. Joe Westerman guilty again, concedes possession, concedes position, and the Catalan Dragons good enough to expose it. This time it's Lange to Tony Gigot, who really casually just flicks the ball over to Lewis Tierney. Really impressive by Gigot, no effort in his passing movement, and manages to find the man perfectly.
Well, you make some errors in this game, and either side can really punish you. And Kenny Edwards, looking at him bouncing across the field, probably got a bit carried away with skipping across and finding some space, and then again Faraimo looks to get up. Poor play from both sides, really. And Braden Williami opens himself to some strong defence, and that's what the coach Lee Radford will be after in the second half.
Well, the stats for the first 40 minutes.
Well, nothing really in it, John. Like the completion rate from Hull FC, like Brian said, they completed the first 8 sets. Then they started making a few mistakes, which helped Catalan get back in the game. And it is going to be an interesting second half. Whoever controls position on the field could go on to win this game.
So Hull FC hold a narrow advantage. What is Lee Radford saying to his charges in the dressing room?
Well, I mean, they're in a pretty good position here. He's going to be happy that considering what they tossed up last week at Magic Weekend. These are two sides, John, that aren't playing well here tonight. Let's not kid ourselves. These are sides that are ranked high up in the Super League competition, but are not performing well tonight. What is going to drive this game and make this game entertaining is the prize that's on offer. It's the Catalan Dragons trying to hold on to the trophy. It's Hull FC almost trying to hold on to their season. This may be their best chance of silverware this year. So that's going to make the next 40 minutes exciting, not the quality of the game they have given us in the first half.
Well, one of these teams is just 40 minutes away from a place in the Coral Challenge Cup semi-finals for 2019. The Hull FC fans in attendance will be keeping their fingers crossed that it is them. And there's some hard work to do in the meantime. They hold the slenderest of leads. Hull FC 12, the Catalan Dragons 8. There's more action on the way the other side of this break.
Get a huge £100 off per person on your next holiday. Don't miss out. Book now for a great deal today. Jet2 Holidays. Package holidays you can trust. After NATO protected.
Dulux Easy Care with hard-wearing formula. Stays the way you painted it. Now available for the bathroom and kitchen. Dulux Easy Care with hard-wearing formula. Stays the way you painted it.
Are you totally ready for a healthier mouth? Introducing new Colgate Total Whole Mouth Health Toothpaste, a breakthrough new formula that brings together two elements found in nature, zinc and arginine, to help fight bacteria, so that your whole mouth, your teeth, tongue, cheeks and gums are protected for up to 12 hours. New Colgate Total also delivers effective enamel protection, instant neutralization of bad breath and even sensitivity relief. New Colgate Total for whole mouth health.
On Trivago you can find a hotel in your ideal location straight from the map. See available hotels in your desired area, compare their prices from different websites and find the right one for you.
At Shark, we know the real test of any vacuum is in the home. So we challenge these people to try our most advanced lift-away yet.
We have 3 daughters, we have glitter, we have sequins, we have all sorts of mess. The Duo Clean has been brilliant.
It gives me the freedom to vacuum up the stairs. I love it. Fantastic.
I'd give the Shark 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Shark, the UK's fastest growing vacuum cleaner brand. In store now.
Estrovia, sports fans. Betting on football is all up in here, so I'm keeping my mind in check in Mother Russia, home of this grandmaster. What's up, girl? Attack! Crushed her.
Don't bet silly, bet savvy. So you think you know your cricket? Here's your chance to prove it. Play for free and you could win £100,000 in cash. The smart money's on Coral.
As an expert trail guide, I carry kit I can rely on, especially Compede. For when blisters strike, Compede offers deep cushioning, absorbs excess fluid, gives instant pain relief and stays in place. So whatever path you're on, Compede keeps you on track.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
And it's lights out, and away we go. Wherever you look, there is action.
This is a place of wonders. Galapagos.
The best choice of TV in Ultra HD on Sky Q.
The Robins and the Wolves do battle on Friday night for a semi-final spot in the Coral Challenge Cup. 7:30 on Sky Sports Arena. The Black and Whites are currently locked in battle with the current cup holders, the Catalan Dragons, here at the KCOM Stadium. We're at the halfway point. Hull FC 12, the Catalan Dragons 8. That is a flimsy lead and a fragile confidence shown by the Black and Whites in that first 40 minutes. Just a recap of the first half statistics then. 82% completion rate stands out for Hull FC.
Everything else is pretty similar, John. You know, the good start that the Hull FC made, that was because of the completion rates, what they upped in the opening 8 sets, like Brian said. But do you know what? Absolutely nothing in this game for me.
And the teams making their way back out onto the field. Plenty of conversation going on, some final pointers between Gigo and Garcia.
Made a point at Magic Weekend that the Catalan win over Wakefield, I think that was a benchmark win for them because of the emotion of the game in the Nou Camp Stadium. There was excuses ready-made for them if they wanted to capitulate at Magic Weekend or lose the game. They didn't. If they could come to the KCOM Stadium tonight and on the back of the win against Wigan, the back of the win against Wakefield, beat Hull FC, I think it's a real marker for Catalan Dragons, not just in this season, but as a club that is described as very flaky playing away from home. Well, here's the last 3 games are away from home. This would be a really big result.
And it would be a repeat of the victory in round 14 they inflicted on the Black and Whites. They came to the KCOM Stadium a week before the last round of the Cup and demolished their opposition on that occasion, 37 points to 6. They have to come from behind here, though. The second 40 minutes. Ben Thaler will get us underway. It'll be Sam Tompkins who kicks off for the Dragons. He puts it deep into Hull FC territory. Picked off by Sevilio. What a bundle of energy he's been off the substitutes bench this afternoon for Hull FC.
Well, and you've got 40 minutes here to keep your dream alive of playing in the Challenge Cup final. So don't wait till next week because it won't come around. You've got to make sure you go out there and play the game now. I'm looking forward to seeing how both sides can really handle the pressure of playing in that sudden death competition. Both have been good over the last few years. Obviously, Catalan, the holders and the way they played last year, I don't think there was many that give them a chance to get into the Challenge Cup final, especially with the form early doors.
Well, the referee's blown time off here. I think we all saw Michael McAlorum in low and late, and from behind at the knees, the back of the knees.
Take him in that way.
Massive fan of Michael McAlorum. Massive fan of him. I hate this sort of tackle. When you go in, you can't defend yourself. It's the 2 men who are holding the player up top, Joe Westerman. This is where the damage can be done. If you get your foot caught underneath, you're bent over backwards. Serious injuries can occur.
Go away. Tackle 5. 5th tackle there.
After consultation, Ben Thaler has decided that's perfectly legitimate and play should continue.
Well, I say it all the time. I'll do that tackle, and anyone who says that that's a legitimate tackle.
It's terrible when you see players, sorry John, firing in at the legs. It's terrible.
You can't defend yourself.
I say you're making a rod for your own back as a referee there with that. I mean, if that's the benchmark, and that's okay.
Mate, hit anybody up front, hit anybody who's coming towards you. And like I say, I'm a massive fan of the man who's passing the ball there. But I've got a real issue with those sort of tackles.
Cassiano, an unintended offload, falls grateful into the hands of Kenny Edwards, who adds 5 or 6 meters to the tackle. Cassiano again. Oh, he's unplayable at times. He's so big. But Hull FC, well, they're on the spot there in Minicello and Griffin to pull down Langy. Ball out to Gigo. Gigo to Tompkins. Tompkins on the toe. Some of the weight taken off the ball, and Whitley has to move away. He was in front of the kicker, so couldn't commit to that, and well tidied up by Jamie Shaw at the back.
Well, good depth, wasn't it, from Catalan Dragons when they shifted that ball to the left-hand side. And Jason Materia, they lost the tackle. He fell off Jamie Shaw.
Lock him up, you don't go back on.
And then he goes back on for a second effort, trying to slow him down. Like he's a ball of energy, isn't he? When he brings that ball away, you can just see Materia. He fell off, then he goes back in to slow him down.
It's just that late right hand, isn't it, Terry, that the referees don't look like so
Well, he lends his weight again, doesn't he? Look, he falls off here, goes off him, comes back on to make it a slower play with Lange.
And the referees take a dim view of that Hull FC. Well, 23 yards, courtesy of the boot of Mark Sneyd. And they start their next set just shy of the halfway line. Here's Bowden. Bowden into the chin of Michael McIlroy. Well, holds on. Scrags and rags. And Bowden plays to Sneyd. Sneyd straightens up, sees half a gap back on the inside. Westerman, another offload. Hull FC coming to life, springing to life, but again, they look directionless as Cassiano.
I think that is probably the biggest mismatch on the field, isn't it? The biggest player against the smallest player.
We've got Origin coming up. That's reminiscent of the Gordon Tallis, Brett Hodgson tackle that will live long in the memory. Gordon Tallis for knocking you to pieces, Terry O'Connor. Brett Hodgson for his great stint in the Super League.
Another penalty given to Hull FC. It's a tackle off the ball.
Well, will they go for 2 points here? We saw Mark Sneyd go for that. You can see Joe Westerman. Well, he's taken. There's Samasona Lange, the man who's been penalised. And will they just line this up? I think they will.
When you spoke about State of Origin, Brian, game one is nearly upon us. Queensland and New South Wales, the most famous of rivalries. The series starts Wednesday, June the 5th, 10 a.m. on Sky Sports Arena.
Kevin Walters banning his players from referring to New South Wales as New South Wales. The men from the set, well, this is now with the benefit of a mind coach, I believe.
Referring to them instead as?
Though the opposition are the men from the south.
The men in blue.
Make of that what you will.
Back on topic. Back to the match at hand. Sneyd with a penalty to put Hull FC 6 points clear, which he does. And that's more like it from Mark Sneyd. The metronome is back.
Well, Lee Bradford would have been hoping at posting the first points in the second half, whether it's from a try or whether it's from the boot of Mark Sneyd through a penalty. And look at Sam Tompkins here, wasting no time to line this up and get it kicked off.
Kelly takes the kick off and hands to Bowden. Bowden wrapped up by Whitley. Now Longo. He's made an impressive start to life in Super League, hasn't he?
Big physical player, isn't he?
Army recruit.
So you look at him, you look at Griffin, Connor, Faraimo. Big outside backs.
Minicello, what a great servant he's been to Hull FC over the past few years. Westerman. Sneyd, low, punched into the feet of Tony Gigot, and that's going to be called a knock-on. And there's a little bit of that in Tony Gigot every now and again. Just that lapse in concentration. The ball came at him at a rate of knots.
Well, he can be a genius, but look at the power behind that kick from Mark Sneyd. They win that play, the ball, the previous play, the ball, they win it. He's under no pressure when he kicks that ball.
I think hugely ambitious to try to catch that. I would have tried to trap that. And it's a really, really difficult one to take. A little bit of grease on the surface, and that ball would have come at Tony Gigot at pace.
Tony Gigot just one appearance away from a career 150. Sneyd celebrates the result of the kick. The 2018 Landstod Trophy, spills the ball from the 2017 and 16 Landstod Trophy winners. Hull FC eye up again, that Catalan Dragons line. They've got a 6-point advantage. A score now would really settle some nerves. Westerman fights to his feet. Houghton to Kelly. Kelly shows back on the inside to Manu. He's going in. That's too easy for Hull FC. That's way too easy for Hull FC. The Catalan Dragons defence melted away. And the easiest of balls back on the inside to Sika Manu. And it's 18-8.
He positioned himself over on the right-hand side. Yeah, he is playing right-hand side. He's struggling, though, at the minute, Sika Manu. The previous play, I think it's his shoulder that he was clutching. They go back to that side. Albert Kelly, well, he fixes Sam Tompkins. Matt Whitley, there's a bit of an overchase from Matt Whitley. And you can just see he drops the ball underneath, and Sikamanu, well, he doesn't look well at all. And that's the pressure that Albert Kelly can put on defenders. When he goes at the line, he accelerates at the line. He pulls in Sam Tompkins. Then, because of the defence being nervous in Matt Whitley, he overchases and creates that space for him.
Does he overchase, Brian, because he's trying to protect Sam Tompkins? They've gone at him. They've really spotted him up.
There's no doubt that that'll be in his head. You're absolutely right. They'll be conscious that they're more likely to go at Sam Tompkins than to do what they did. However, all too easily, he was overchased. The man inside him, I mean, was well off the pace on that. If you know Matt Whitley's going to get out and help Sam Tompkins, if you think that's what he's going to do, if you're chasing inside Matt Whitley, you've got to be better than that. Looks like it was trying to a legs tackle on Sikamanu there, and it was just all too easy for the Hull FC. It's not the most revolutionary of plays you're going to see, and that's really poor Catalan defence.
Mark Sneed attempts to tag on the extra 2, which he does so. Hull FC 20, Catalan Dragons 8, and what an interesting 8 minutes of the second half we've had.
Well, 2 big starts to either half, haven't they? And Sikamanu, like I say, look at him, he's not well at the minute. He waved away the doctor, waved away the physio, wants to stay out there.
Danger territory from Catalan Dragons now. This may be one of the lamest title defences you've seen. They're the Challenge Cup holders. They're now 20 points to 8 down against Hull FC away from home. Yeah, they've got to be very careful they don't just limp out of this competition that they lit up last year.
Sikamanu, that was his first try since round 1 at Hull Kingston Rovers back in February. And a more timely try he could not have scored. Really significant in the context of this matchup. This quarter-final matchup, a place in the semi-finals of the Coral Challenge Cup at stake. And of course, as you rightly say, Brian, what could be the end of the defence of the Catalan Dragons, who made history last season in lifting the Challenge Cup themselves.
Well, Catalan's last cup defeat was here on this ground in 2017, and Hull's march to the Challenge Cup final. So good signs for Hull FC here, if they can just get over this stubborn Catalan side.
Well, there's a long time to play. There's still half an hour of this game to go. I think we write the Catalan Dragons off at our peril, because there are some really exciting individual players here, not least the man with the ball in his hands, Tompkins. He offloads to Edwards. Edwards rolls with 4 Hull FC defenders.
Well, John, they're littered with internationals, aren't they? Catalan Dragons spend an awful lot of money down in the south of France. Well, Sam Cassiano, they're turning into a ball player now, giving the ball out wide to Mead.
He always was a ball player. It's like a frustrated 6. David Mead held in the tackle. And a bit of off-the-ball stuff between Tierney and Griffin. Last tackle. Nice low punched ball into the sticks. Well read, well cleaned up by Hull FC.
Well, that kick, instead of going into the air, that's a kick that they're trying to force another set of 6. Goal line set of 6 here. Mickey McLaurin as well, going really hard, along with Sam Cassiano. Oh, they offload the ball. Oh, that could have been dangerous. Could have been dangerous for Hull FC. Well, a loose offload. And there's a bit of panic. When any ball carrier has been driven backwards, you look to get rid of the ball. You can see the kick going towards the sticks. Whether they were going for the sticks or not.
He didn't
Look
get
at
it
this.
down, Cassiano.
No, he doesn't get it down. No, he doesn't get it down. Joe Westerman kicks it. Not taking any chances whatsoever, because that man was there with his huge hands.
But it's a good riposte, a good response from the Catalan Dragons. Hull FC, well, they concede possession and territory, and they'll have to work through another set 6 in defence, led by Danny Houghton, as they invariably always are, to Whitley. Whitley off the right foot, straightens up again into the chest of Houghton. He's turned by Westerman and Minicello. McLaurin, short side, Cassiano, ball at the line, Tompkins, short ball, well met, and now Connor's in the clear. Now then, now Longo, now we'll see some legs. Now we'll see what he's got, and he's got to try. He's got to try for Hull FC. Wow. We wanted to see what this guy could do with clear air in front of him, and he's shown a clean pair of heels for the opposition. And credit Albert Kelly at the other end of the field. He met Kenny Edwards head on. The ball came loose, Connor, and when he found the support in Nalongo, he didn't hesitate and give it to him. What a try.
Well, you can build pressure through defence, can't you? And that's exactly what Albert Kelly did. Again, he forces Kenny Edwards backwards, who then wants to just get rid of the ball. Jake Connor gets it and thinks, no, I might not have the speed to get there, but my winger has. And I go, but I just love this. The contact from Albert Kelly, the panic from Kenny Edwards, tries to get the ball to Tony Gigot, and then the speed out wide. Well, another good start in the half for Lee Radford's men. 2 tries at the start of the game, 2 tries in the second half in the opening 12 minutes.
Well, they're well in control, Hull FC now. You get the feeling the Catalan Dragons are trying to cheat the way to the line. You get hit like that, the follow-up play's off, isn't it? Brian, you've got to accept your punishment there and play the ball.
You panic, John. You panic when you've been driven backwards like that.
We know how difficult it is. We've seen him enough times this year, Kenny Edwards, and last year. He's really a handful to play against. Kelly did exactly the best thing he could possibly do there.
If Sneed kicks this, it's an 18-point gap, 3 converted tries, which it is. That is a commanding lead. We spoke at length ad nauseam at half-time about the flimsy lead, the fragile lead that Hull FC held. Well, I think they've gone and cemented their position as favourites, as semi-finalists in this year's cup competition.
Well, you credit Albert Kelly with the defence on Kenny Edwards there, but they've completed 7 of their first 8 sets in the second half. Completed their first 8 sets in the first half. It's no magic recipe there. That's what they do. Just build in, go set for set, get into the game. We said at the start it would suit Hull FC if they did that, and they've been able to expand the scoreline on the basis of that.
And last week when they played at Magic, they were making an error every other set. So there's 2 different Hull FC sides that you see in the Jekyll and Hyde side. The side that the reason why they're up there in 4th position, because they can trouble sides, but they've got to do it more consistently.
Westerman wrapped up by Garcia. Houghton teases the defensive line, takes another couple of metres. Once again, this is looking like another successful set following points. Sneed goes left. All of a sudden there's some space as Griffin gets the ball away to Faraimo. Faraimo checks, thinks again about trying to take Tierney on the outside. Minicello to Sneed. Off the park. Sensible stuff from the black and whites half.
Coaches will talk about winning your last play before you give it to the likes of Mark Sneed to kick the ball. You don't want pressure. Look at the space that he's got between defenders. He's got nobody in his face, no one challenging him, where he might just kick the ball off the side of his boot because he can feel those defenders on him.
To give you an indication as well, Terry, that play by Mark Sneed about how this game is going to unfold. This is Hull FC are going to play it out.
Yeah.
Try and play it as cleverly as they can, and this will suit Mark Sneed. Catalan Dragons are going to have to force their hand. They're going to have to start playing a little bit more, and you know what, that can cut both ways.
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to put to you, Brian. It's 25 minutes left in this game. The Catalan Dragons, for all the soft underbelly that you see from time to time, play with as much flair and verve and abandon as any team in Super League. When they're on, they're really, really hot.
Well, they're going to have to turn it on now. They're going to quickly run out of time.
Well, there's no tomorrow in this competition, is there?
Well, there is. We're at Hull KR tomorrow.
For Catalan.
Garcia. Well, to confirm that, Brian, especially for you, Terry, Challenge Cup quarter-final, other side of the city, Hull Kingston Rovers against the Warrington Wolves. It'll be Ben Pro, Barry McDermott and Jodie Cunningham will bring in the coverage from the east of the city tomorrow as Edwards goes through a small gap which was quickly closed down by Dean Hadley and Houghton. Short side Tompkins, it's Grubbard and he's fallen to the floor, but it was an accidental contact of feet between that. Hull FC in the form of the try scorer, Hull FC's most recent try scorer, Ratu Nolongo.
Well, Catalan's
hugely impressive in full flight, wasn't he, Terry?
Well, he's huge, isn't he? Well, he is. He's got some speed as well. Well, Catalan now, they will force the issue. They need to force the issue. And it's just what Hull FC can do with him. See, when Josh Griffin goes at the line, he's got Mark Sneed pushing up through the hole. Makes it so much easier for the man carrying the ball. If he's got some support, or if he's just a stubborn runner, like Mark Minicello.
Small dink into the corner from Mark Sneed. It has the same effect. It just takes the wind out of the Catalan Dragons' sails. They've got to start again from inside their own 20. It's not long before this starts to become demoralising for an opposition, is it?
Well, just keep finding those sidelines. You've got 23 minutes more or less to go in this game. Mark Sneed, the quality tactician that he is, he manages games well, doesn't he? You can see him talking to his forwards, talking to Joe Westerman, what he wants in this next set of 6. The perfect position of the field to defend.
It's worth clarifying as well what we talk about when we say Catalans have to chance their arm here. If they're working off a playbook, and you'd imagine every club will be doing, there's a conservative playbook and then there's a little bit more expansive. What they don't want to go to yet is that, listen, I'll try and solve it on my own. Sam Tompkins had a little bit of that in his last tackle play, the last set, dribbled through for himself. You're not at that stage yet. You're not at the desperate, I'm going to try and win this on my own, throw a miracle ball, pull off a miracle play. But there has to be certainly more expansive play, in my opinion.
Well, we saw that in the first half when Kenny Edwards threw that ball and there was nobody there.
Go.
The Dragons, in the form of Sam Moa, go short side through Tompkins at the line. That's better. There's more structure about this play. Willie Army shows to Fuad Yaha, rolls the tackle. He's told to play the ball by Ben Thaler, and now they're on the last. The Dragons from Tompkins to the right. Tierney above his head. Oh, well wrapped up and stolen by Beretta Faraimo. He didn't just stop the play, he took possession from the Catalan Dragons. Matt Whitley, I feel, was to surprise anybody to have the ball in his possession.
Yeah, it was good work, wasn't it, from Faraimo then on Matt Whitley. Great effort. You can see it's a one-on-one strip before Mark Minicello joins that tackle. Good play over on the left as well from Catalan. Sam Tompkins getting his hands on the ball. You can see how dangerous that's gonna be.
Well, don't forget the winning run that the Dragons come here on. You know, won the lost 4, but also with the emotional roller coaster that they've had with the standout game in Barcelona, backing that up a week later with a victory at Magic at Anfield. Is this where the bubble potentially bursts? Sam Moa, there you go. Stop running, Vicky Payer.
It looks like the end of a 4-mile walk then with his dog.
Sneed again. This is becoming predictable. Mark Sneed to touch, and he really is going to try and work out the rest of the last 30 minutes of this game.
This is meters after contact. This will impress all the strength and conditioning coaches. Here we go. Until Sam Moa says, I'm going to put an end to this.
He doesn't even look worried, does he? He's probably carrying about 30, 40 stone there, dragging them along with him. Mickey Payer.
There's only a few people in this commentary box who could sympathise with having to drag 30 or 40 stone around with him, isn't there?
Yeah, sure is, Wellesley. I don't know how you do it.
Shot clock off.
Sammy Sonilangi to Tony Gigo.
One move.
Gigo, one of a handful of Catalan Dragons players you would look to for some spark. And here's another who's taking the initiative. Kenny Edwards. Alrix da Costa goes short.
They've got a number of them, John, haven't they? You know, for Hull FC now, they need to focus on this defensive line. Danny Houghton taking that line up, targeting Sam Moa. His job's to take Catalan forward, win the play, get a quick play of the ball.
Miscommunication again. Sammy Sonilangi does well to recover his own pass.
And that's what happens with strong defence, isn't it? You're trying to break the defence down. No one's jumping the line. You see Josh Griffin on the last play going to put pressure on Tony Gigo.
Now, what playbook was that from, Brian? What playbook is this from?
And Tony Gigo strips the ball, it goes forward, so Hull still get this ball back.
It's the increasingly desperate playbook. we spoke about.
Absolutely, it's dreadful. I mean, you wouldn't be too critical of Tony Gigo because he's at last tackle. This from Samisoni Lange is appalling.
Yeah, boys.
There's a major breakdown in communication on that right edge. Lange was so dangerous in setting up, or assisting the setup of those two Lewis Tierney tries in the first half.
Okay, 10
It
seconds,
looks a
let's bang, please.
very different prospect for Hull FC defenders in terms of the ease in which they can shut him down, worry him off the ball. Hull FC again looking increasingly comfortable. You know what, they may have prized at least one Catalan hand from this Challenge Cup. Kelly short side. That's where Kelly's dangerous. This is where Kelly's dangerous. Kelly's going to go all the way. He celebrates to the crowd. We always knew he was a brilliant runner of the ball. He drops the shoulder, skips across a tired-looking Catalan Dragons defensive line, and Hull FC go 26 points to 8 with a kick to come. That's vintage Albert Kelly.
Well, Albert Kelly, well, he's willing to wear a tackle, isn't he? A strong player, strong runner. And Steve McNamara, the Catalan coach, the local lad who once represented this club. Look at that, you give him the ball, he gets on the outside of Remy Casti, he spots where Remy Casti is defending. He comes across the back of the player the ball and he picks him out because he's got players outside of him. Look, again, it's a strong carry from Hull FC. They're not dominated, they're not put to ground. It's so easy. And he can spot the breakdown in defence. And he spots exactly where he wants to go, and he benefits.
Well, we're now in the territory at 30 points to 8, where we start talking about those wild scoring fluctuations in victory and defeat for Hull FC. A coach's nightmare. Mark Sneed from underneath the sticks. This should be a formality, which it is. 32 points to 8.
If the problem with Hull FC is between their ears, and their coach has suggested it is, he's happy with the talent he's got on the field. Here's a classic example. This man sometimes is unplayable in the competition, and other times looks like he doesn't want to be there. If the problem is between their ears, now would be a great time, the final 18 minutes of this game, to show us that they're capable of catching a hold of these problems and really go to town with the Catalan Dragons. I'd imagine they're going to be in the semi-final draw here. They can show Lee Radford they're probably going to be in the mix come the playoffs in the Betfred Super League.
Brian, it's got to be between the ears. How can you concede 55 points one week and then the following week against third place Catalan Dragons, who had a decent win themselves at the Magic Weekend against Wakefield? You're in this commanding lead of 32 points to 8. Lee Bradford, trust me, I know him. He demands more of his players. And he would have been hurting after last week. He's a very proud coach, along with his assistant, Andy Last, at the side of him. Jake Connor, Albert Kelly, a number of them who I thought just didn't perform last week.
Oh, there's an injury concern there for Jake Connor. As our replay shows, he comes down awkwardly on that right knee. And that's not a good sign, because that's the fabled draw test. And they're looking for potential issues with a ACL. Well, I think the response from the physio and the albeit gingerly movement off the mark from Jake Connor would suggest that there is nothing serious going on there. Yeah. The penalty, by the way, to the Catalan Dragons, accidental offside from the short kickoff. Da Costa to Tompkins to Casti. The fight back needs to start now, because that cup is slipping away, is slipping from their grasp. Casti, Da Costa to Lange. Lange at the line, met heavily by Minicello.
Wow, good contact from Mark Minicello.
Bousquet looks for the offload, dumps it back over the top, and he's picked up just by Sam Moa. Da Costa goes left into the hands of Tompkins. Tompkins out the back. Gigo to Williami, who goes over the top. Is he being held up? Has he been held up?
Well, great effort on effort. That's what you want with try-line defence. Albert Kelly, the man who scored the last try for Hull FC. What about this? He gets rid of Jake Connor, Williami, but he comes over the top to rescue the situation.
That's a great piece of defensive work. He was try-scorer, turned try-saver within 90 seconds.
You'd be taking Jake Connor off. 32 points to 8. Again, the physio's onto him. He's not moving well. You'll be looking at next week. You can't see Hull FC losing this game now.
Here's Gigo. Gigo to Langy. There's some space opening up on this right-hand side. Mead back on the inside. Langy to Gigo once again. Tompkins, who fumbles. This is the last play for the Dragons. Again, over the top of Whitley. Tierney. Langy. He's going to be wrapped up, and that's the end of the set. What a disappointing end to the set. A set that petered out for the Catalan Dragons. They look devoid of ideas at the moment.
Yeah, totally agree. But nice and controlled from Hull FC. And that, Michael McCloram's been off for a head test. He'll be back on in a couple of minutes. He's past that. They need that toughness in the middle of the field. They need that direction behind to play the ball.
Minicello, as Mead aggressively tries to wrap up the legs of Mark Minicello. Houghton to Green, back on the field. Rides and rolls his way out of the attempted tackle from Remy Casti. Has to be said, a very tired looking Remy Casti. Fash brought down the last tackle, 52-metre gain this time. And here's Mark Sneed for a one-pointer. And the referee says yes. The referee says yes, and boy, is that a speciality of Mark Sneed. You get the feeling he's putting a little bit of practice in for later in the season, should that skill set be called upon once again.
Yeah, will he be saying to his teammates, you drop me in those positions and I'll knock over the points.
He did it against Catalan, didn't he, in the south of France? I mean, his final few plays were exceptional in engineering a golden point win for them.
Go short here.
They'll get this game and they'll win this game without being brilliant. I mean, this isn't one of those wild variations where they go from very bad to very, very good. They haven't been very good. They've been better than Catalan Dragons in this game. Well, the Dragons now will have question marks against them. They're a side that have lost 46-0 at home to Salford, 42-0 away to Wigan, 50-14 away to St Helens. They too have swings in their play.
Nalongo goes short side with purpose. He's wrapped up by his opposite number, Fuad Yaha. Sneed, he's the man you want in the clutch moments, isn't he, Mark Sneed? Arguably above. They used to say that about Danny Brough. Danny Brough was the man you wanted at the key moment. I'd say Mark Sneed is probably right up there now. 2 golden point wins this season at Wigan and in the south of France. And a beautiful exponent of the drop goal.
Like that.
It's just, again, a return to that game plan.
It's relentless, John. That's what it is. It's always over on the left-hand side. You've got to realise if you're playing on the right-hand side and it's towards the back end of the set that Mark Sneed is going to come up with a play like that. Obviously, it's dangerous. Your winger can't drop back on the final play just in case that they run the ball. So you're caught in 2 man, so your fullback needs to probably come over more. Your winger on the left-hand side needs to drop back and just help them there. And you're thinking this commanding lead now.
He's just conducting now, isn't he? It reminds me of Lee Beers when Lee Beers used to do it. Just conducting, just push them around, and with a brilliant kicking game as well. Playing a dinner suit for the rest of this game.
As Kenny Edwards has gone without the ball, he's tried to offload. Here's Nalongo. They'll do well to stop him. They don't. They can't. Nalongo gets a double. Hull FC are out of sight. The Dragons are out of this competition. Hull FC booked their place in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. And look what it means, not only to the players, but to the Hull FC faithful. Nalongo were the second of the night. And that was another demonstration of pure physical power.
Well, they look like they're going into the 5th semi-final in 12 seasons, and they won each of the previous 4. So it's a quality return here for Hull FC. Again, strong defence, harassing defence. The ball just comes free. And now Nalongo, every time he gets the ball, he gets you on the edge of your seat, doesn't he? He's a big, powerful player up near the try line, not bringing the ball away. And I think there has been a different attitude from Hull FC, and I'm sure the coach will say that when he talks to Jenna Brooks after the game, that he expected the response. The response has come And now it's about closing the game down in the last 12 minutes.
Now Longo, 2 tries on his debut. 2 tries in the cup quarter-final here tonight. Mark Sneed only missed 1 with the boot this evening. That was the missed penalty. He's converted all the tries, and he keeps that record intact. Try conversions at least, 39 points to 8. That is a convincing scoreline.
Well, it was a long trip home last week for the Hull faithful when they had to return from Anfield, and the players, Mark Sneed and his teammates. But I'm sure it's going to be a happier return journey tonight. Instead of going short, now Catalan go for that distance. Nice carry, Chris Green.
He skittled a Catalan Dragons defender. Here's now Longo. His learning curve is a steep one, but Lee Radford obviously thinks a great deal of the Fijian winger. Manu, another try scorer this evening. He plays the ball. Houghton spins it left to Sneed. Shaw drops his shoulder, goes halfway through the attempted tackle of Sami Solilangi, who just about holds onto his coattails. Minicello,
good
shot ball, great ball to Albert Kelly, followed up by Jamie Shaw. Shut the gate, Jamie Shaw under the sticks. That's game over. That is Hull FC into the semi-finals of the Challenge Cup and knocking out the Holders in the process.
Any player bouncing across the defensive line is looking to entice a defender to turn his hips in. And Mark Minicello goes on a win. Sami Solilangi not set, and you can see that Remy Casti was the man that turned his hips in. As soon as he does that, Albert Kelly spots the gap. He targets the outside of him, and he knows what his back row was doing. Good play, good ball, good vision from the Italian forward. And Albert Kelly, when he pushes up in close support, he knows if he can go through, he's going to have support from that man at the back, Jamie Shaw.
So Jamie Shaw plays the ball, followed by Mark Minicello with a trademark run across the line, who is shown up for by Albert Kelly. He shows up for him. All these things are mental switch-ons that can just as easily be manifested in switch-offs in another situation. Sneed will have the extras. Brian, it's amazing, isn't it, that people are prepared to turn up for one another.
This is a side that got beaten 55 points to 2 last week by Huddersfield. There's a 90-point swing thus far in their performances. And you're right, with 9 minutes to go, they're playing with energy, enthusiasm, turning up for each other, looking good, looking dangerous with the ball. This is Hull FC. This is them at their best. And making Catalan Dragons look pretty ordinary. But the worrying thing for them is and their coach has said this, they don't know what performance they're going to come up with in a game. And nobody can know whether you're going to win or lose. But the wild swings, they're not in control of those. They don't know whether they're going to win by 40 or lose by 40. And that's not a recipe for success, in my opinion. But he's honest. He says he doesn't know what to do about it.
Well, first of all, the players have got to recognise that it's them that go out there and put in a performance like this. And it was exactly them, the same players more or less, that put in the performance last week. You've got to be honest.
And beat Warrington the week before.
Yeah.
Well, Hull FC face Salford next week. What will they make of this? What's coming? Which Hull FC are they going to see?
Yeah, well, they want to play the Huddersfield. They want to play the Hull FC side that played Huddersfield at Magic, don't they?
Move! Here we are.
Hull FC 47.5 minutes away from a... No, not 7.5 minutes away. I need a half of football there for a place in the semi-final. Sneed again, as is becoming oh so familiar.
And when he kicks that ball, just look at the reaction from Lewis Taney. He throws his head back, he puffs his cheeks out, he's thinking, I can't compete with that. I can't compete with that no matter what I do. Because if I drop back, he's going to come at me, he's going to go at the space where he should be defending.
To clarify my timekeeping, just under 7 minutes away from a place in the semi-final, 87 minutes away from a place in the final, potentially. It won't be the Catalan Dragons. And there's also, in 2019, the guarantee of a championship side, either the Bradford Bulls or Halifax in the semi-final. What a big day in the sun for one of those two teams.
Which makes them dangerous as well, because it is the big day in the sun. Hull KR Warrington, which is featured on Sky Sports tomorrow. Saints against Wakefield. Some nervous players sat at home. They're going to be this weekend watching, waiting for their turn to get out and perform in the quarters.
Well, we hope this has been a welcome distraction for a couple of hours at least, as you've seen a really accomplished performance from Hull FC. A really fast start, a nervy, edgy second half to the first 40 minutes, and then a really accomplished second half performance as Faraimo takes the ball. A steepling kick from Tompkins and returns it with interest.
You could see what he was doing, and he was trying to plant his foot over the try line then, so they could tap the ball on the 20, get 7 tackles. I think what Hull FC have done in this game, they played the percentages. Yeah, they conceded 2 tries in the first half. The second half, not conceded a point. Been really strong, haven't they?
Minicello's rolled back the years this evening. Well, masterclass at times from him. That'll be one for the highlight reel. The skirt across that defensive line, and Albert Kelly following up. There's a mistake though here from Cervello. Loses the ball in the tackle. The Catalan Dragons players just relieved for a little respite. Time to gather their thoughts.
Well, Andre Cervello, this won't be going on his highlights reel at the end of the year. Good contact underneath the ball. I think it was Michael McLaurin who comes in, dislodges the ball, knowing how dangerous that he can be, whether he's got 2, 3, 4 players in attendance. Always looks to get his arm free, shrug off a defender, get an offload.
You're left scratching your head about Catalan Dragons now as well, aren't you? These two sides are sitting high in the Super League. They're another one that I can't get a handle on. I'd have no faith in them.
You said that at the start of the game, didn't you? You didn't know where it was going to go because of the way they are, the way they perform.
You get nilled twice in the season, conceded over 40 points 3 times, and sitting 3rd in the Super League.
There's the wider conversation, I think, there, Brian. For now, it's the Catalan Dragons, a rare foray into Hull FC territory, in the Hull FC danger zone. McLaurin goes out the back to Gigo. Gigo to Tompkins. To Lange.
Yeah, dummy runner.
Another breakdown.
Well, the dummy runner that goes through, he runs into the Hull FC defender. Julian Bousquet knocks him on his backside. You can see setting the lines there, the number 14 runs across the path of Mark Sneed and impedes him. That could have been the play as well. The ball could have been to big Julian Bousquet. Line him up, give him an early ball, let him pick out Sneed. 10 metres from the line, you never know. The big, powerful prop forward might have got there himself.
Sneed clears his lines inside the last 4 minutes of the game. And this will be a formality now. They'll play out the remaining 3.5 minutes. Nothing to do with points difference, of course. This is a knockout competition. The job is done. The hard work has been done. Hull FC will take their place in the semi-final draw, and they will have the luxury of watching the 3 other games across the weekend. Griffin goes through, back on the inside. That's nice. That was lovely from Mark Sneed. And Danny Houghton is an unexpected but grateful recipient of a lovely reactionary tipped ball back on the inside from Mark Sneed. He's been prolific from the boot this evening, the Sneed, but that was a really deft touch. It's really lovely soft hands back on the inside to Danny Houghton. His first cup try of the season. But have a look at this.
Well, excellent play, wasn't it? Look at it, Mark Sneed, when he drops that ball off to Josh Griffin. He's there, and the man who's so reliable defensively, Danny Houghton, who passes the ball, starts it all off at the ruck area, gets around Mark Sneed, and soft hands inside. Well, they certainly haven't panicked, have they, tonight? They've looked nice and controlled, and speaking about control, look at that. Excellent, excellent play from Mark Sneed.
Magic play. Where Houghton was going to be, where he couldn't catch and pass. Really little time to work with. It's excellent by Sneed, who in all likelihood knock this over. Push it out to 51 points, John to 8.
Sneed, a conversion attempt, which is again successful. And Hull FC go past the 50 mark, 51 points to 8. Terry, it's about time we got your man of the match vote. Who are we going for?
Well, there's been a number, haven't there, like, to score 51 points in the way that they've played. Danny Houghton, very good defensively, and the forwards have done a decent job. But the man who's controlled it all, for me, is Mark Sneed. Mark Sneed's game management, the way he's led his troops around the field. His forwards have really stood up, and it's been a team effort, but they've laid the platform for that man.
So with the latest conversion, Hull FC have scored 39 points without reply, 6 second-half tries, and what has become an absolute demolition job on the current cup holders. Now Longo across and bumps off 2-3 Catalan defenders before he's finally put down by McAlorum. Sneed, and he's been at the heart of absolutely everything, hasn't he, for Hull FC.
He's just sitting back. He knows what he's going to do on play 4 on tackle 1. Where he wants to land, where he wants to set up his plays.
Into the last minute then, as Hadley backs in to the Catalan Dragons defence. That'll be a long journey home for the men from Perpignan. Fash finds the floor. Sneed, oh, again, more soft hands. This time it's Josh Griffin with a wag of the finger and a smile on the inside, said, oh, there you go, Mark, I could do that too. Nice soft hands. And there's the kick from Josh Griffin.
Well, you can see his celebration. He doesn't do it often, does he, Josh Griffin? The man who normally kicks the ball is Mark Sneed, the man who's kicked 19 points in today's game. But you can see he's still happy with that little kick, isn't he, off his right?
There's no rush to pack this scrum, and I think the Catalan Dragons have admitted defeat. They do right to. It's 51 points to 8. Ben Thaler calls time off. The current cup holders are out. Hull FC take their place in the Challenge Cup semi-final for 2019. And I think there's an honest realisation from the Dragons that they just weren't good enough tonight.
They just weren't at the races, were they? So last week, decent performance at Anfield against Wakefield. But for Hull FC, the right attitude. Didn't make a mistake in the opening 10 minutes, made one mistake in the opening 10 minutes in the second half. Didn't miss a tackle in the second half, Albert Kelly and his teammates. So it shows how good they are, how focused they were. They wanted to put the wrongs right in tonight's game, at home, in front of the Old Faithful, who turn out week in, week out to support them. They're the first club that goes into the hat. They're into the semis now. They'll be watching the next 3 games over the weekend, relaxing, making sure that they're focused now and getting ready for next week's game in the Super League. But it's been all about Lee Radford's men tonight for me.
Just a quick word, Brian, on the Catalan Dragons, because that is a bubble very much burst now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I had them all set up after that win at Wakefield, having done what they did at the new camp, then go to Anfield and do it. But they're now that inconsistent, irregular, rational side that we'd almost associated with them in recent times. They're rolling the dice each time they take the field, like Hull FC.
I think we can go down to Jenna Brooks, who is standing by with our Coral Challenge Cup man of the match, Mark Sneed. Jenna.
Thanks very much, John. Mark Sneed, congratulations. You are the Coral man of the match. Hull are just 80 minutes away from a 3rd appearance at Wembley in the space of just 4 years. Quite the achievement.
Yeah, it's crazy. For some reason, we step up for the cup games. It's obviously a massive cup. It's a trophy at the end of the day, and we always seem to bring our best rugby when the cup games come around. So obviously, over the moon to be going to that semi.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the deciding factor in today's game?
I think our attitude. backing up from what we dished up last week. I think we owed it to ourselves more than anything. We know we're a miles better team than what we did last week. So I think in the dressing room last week it was real down, quiet. It's been the same all week. So hopefully when we turn up training in a couple of days' time, we'll be bouncing and happy again.
Your coach, Lee Radford, was extremely vocal this week about his players being quite inconsistent. Yep. How do you go from last week's performance to this?
Oh, God knows. God knows. It's a strange one. I think if we knew, we'd have put our finger on it a lot earlier. But it's just us as individuals. For some reason, we just seem to be turning up when we want, basically, and it's just not good enough. But we're still in a good spot in both competitions. We're obviously going to a semi-final and we're fourth in the league, and we're not playing outstanding rugby, so we're not a million miles off. It's just like Rad says, it's that inconsistencies they're killing us at times. So if we could put our finger on that towards a later stage of the season, we should be in good stead.
Okay, Maxie, congratulations.
Yes,
we can bring in Sam Tompkins now. Sam, at what point did that game get away from you?
Just in that second half. We were poor the first 15 minutes and we sort of clawed our way back into it. Going in at half-time, just 4 points behind, we knew we hadn't played well and we had to improve, and we did the opposite. We came out with a disgusting second 40 minutes.
Sam, I mean, it is extremely disappointing. You're the current cup holders. Where do you go from here?
We've got to concentrate on doing something in the league. We've proved this year that we can beat the best teams in the comp, we can compete really well, and we can also be the worst team in the comp, and that second 40 minutes, I don't think you'll see a worse one. So we've got to realise that to win anything, you've got to be consistent, and we're sat in a good spot. We're third in the league. We can't just start kicking off now after a bad loss in the Challenge Cup. We've just got to focus and rebuild, but there's a lot of things have to change.
Sam, bad luck today. We can now bring in the Victorious head coach, Lee Radford. Lee, that certainly didn't look like the Rocky Horror Show this week, did it?
No, slightly different. It must be exciting supporting this team in particular. You don't know what's going to turn up from one week to the next. It's edge of your seat stuff. So, we're through to a semi-final on a real strong performance. We're still scratching our head how we dished that up on Saturday. But hopefully we'll get to the bottom of that one day, and there's some psychological tests for one or two of these blocks, I think.
Well, Lee Radford, congratulations. You are through to the semi-finals.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jenna. Let's take a look back at the highlights for the second 40 minutes, which belong to Hull FC.
They were really strong, weren't they, in the second half? I thought that the way that they performed, the way that they hit the likes of Albert Kelly, Jake Connor, he picked up an injury later on in the second half. Now Largo, every time he carries the ball, doesn't he look determined? And a fierce sight when he runs. And speaking about running, what about Albert Kelly? This is what you want to see him do more of. He really does hurt defenders. You don't want to see him coming at you. And I just thought right the way through the second half, they looked in control, whether they were defending or whether they were attacking, like this man did. Now Largo looking in, powers over from Lewis Tierney.
Yeah, that was converted. Terry went to 39-8 after Radford no longer went over for a second, and then this Mark Minicello crabbing across field, finding Albert Kelly, who has Jamie Shaw backing up on the inside. Great to see Shaw back in his return run of game since that concussion. That was converted, 45 points to 8. Danny Houghton gets out of dummy half, finds Sneed. Beautiful light hands from Sneed here to find Danny Houghton back on his inside. That was converted as well, 51 points to 8 as Houghton goes over for an easy try. Just too easy in the end for Hull FC, but still puzzling times for the black and whites.
Well, there's confirmation of the final score then, 51 points to 8 in a second half demolition job by Hull FC over the Catalan Dragons. Sam Tompkins labelling that a disgusting second 40 minutes from them. So all done and dusted here at the KCOM Stadium tonight. Tomorrow night, we're at the other side of the city as the Hull Kingston Rovers take on the Warrington Wolves in the second of our quarter-finals, 7:30 p.m, Sky Sports Arena. That's all to come tomorrow night. But tonight, though, and a place in the Challenge Cup semi-final belongs to Hull FC.
Sky Sports Arena. Feel it all.
Get super fast broadband from Sky and chase down a great deal today. Now with our new Sky Broadband Buddy app, you can even pause the internet so you can enjoy a little less screen time and a lot more family time. Catch all this for just £29.50 a month for 18 months. And that's including line rental. Available to existing Sky TV customers. Simply search Sky Broadband.
On the break. Funny thing is, I don't know if you guys know, but you go out and about, and even though we wear them, and managers wear them, a lot of people still don't know what this badge is about. Prostate cancer kills one man every 45 minutes.
We wear the badges, and it's just making everybody aware of what it's all about.
Text the word badge to 70004 to donate £5 to help Prostate Cancer UK fund research to stop prostate cancer being a killer.
High-protein pet food. Crave. Satisfy their nature.
Big Drama TV. No drama, fast delivery. All for $7.99 per month. Amazon Prime.
The 22nd of June.
A rabid Bellator fan base from SSC Arena Wembley.
Middleweight champion Gegard Mousasi looks to defend his title against undefeated jiu-jitsu ace Rafael Lovato Jr. Plus, Paul Daly comes home.
When I fight, people get knocked out. Simple as that.
And featuring Irish superstar James Gallagher.
Oh, gee, who's real?
Bellator MMA live from the SSC Arena. Saturday the 22nd of June. Tickets available now at AXS.com and Ticketmaster.
Raymond Reddington, fugitive to the United States, has been arrested.
I need your help. Find whoever did this.
The Raymond Reddington we know can't be trusted.
It's time to go to work.
The Blacklist starts Wednesday at 9 on Sky One.
Unforgettable Sunday.
An action-packed summer on Sky Sports. Feel it all.
The NBA on Sky Sports. Brought to you by StockX, the live marketplace for buying and selling authentic sneakers.
This is NBA action.
Raptors Bucks, Game 6, up next.
Fans in Canada have been waiting a lifetime for a chance to watch the Raptors play for the NBA crown.
Hey man, we took on trophy and we give nothing back. They don't play desperate. We gotta play just as desperate. Just make history.
made up a third of Scotland's overall emissions in 2016. But we need to take bigger steps by ensuring local companies are awarded contracts to reduce our impact on the climate. And not only that, we need to help boost our local economy and provide jobs for skilled workers. And the sector has shrunk every quarter for the past 2 years, the last quarter alone shrinking by 3.5%, the largest fall on record. And I spoke in a debate last year on Apprenticeship Week, where I noted the importance to encourage people...
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. I'm chairing the meeting.
As we will soon reach... as we will soon reach a shortage of workers, with more than half of those in the industry reaching retirement age. Now, as we will hear from many members today, this is about more than just one firm. It's about the wider environment for businesses and how we need to be better in supporting that. Now, Scottish Renewables noted that offshore wind expansion will provide huge potential for hundreds of supply chain companies, ports and communities, which all feed into these offshore projects. And the offshore wind sector is one to be very excited about for Scotland and the UK, and is likely to reach an expected target of 50% UK content by 2020. And with it currently at 48% of UK content, a 5% increase on 2012, it shows it is moving in the right direction. And earlier this year, the UK Energy Minister announced the offshore wind sector deal, which will further reduce emissions and protect the environment. So this is a landmark agreement between the UK government and offshore wind sector, with suggestions that the UK could reach 30 gigawatts of offshore wind capacity by 2030. And this will... Yes. Yeah.
Alec Rowley.
For Mr Burnett taking an intervention. There are workers upstairs in the gallery today who have been competing against companies, state-owned companies for overseas. There's not a level playing field, and there is a view that whilst they have been trying, the UK government has been sitting on its hands. Will he push the UK government to intervene, to put the resources in and to create a level playing field?
Mr Burnett.
Thank you. I think we're all aware that there are state aid restrictions on investment, and maybe after Brexit there'll be opportunities, and maybe after Brexit there will be opportunities to give support.
Cabinet Secretary, passion, yes. Excuse me, please sit down. Just warning you to keep a lid on it a bit. Thank you very much. Mr Burnett.
So not only will we see investment of up to £250 million in building a stronger UK supply chain, but also social equality commitments, such as increasing the representation of women to at least a third. And with an expected increase in the number of green jobs in the industry from 7,000 today to 27,000 by 2030, this is a great deal for the UK. And importantly, a significant number of these jobs are expected to be in Scotland.